Where are the plans they sent you? Wait, what? Who are you? Are you with the Rebel Alliance? Just remember, do not underestimate the power of the dark side.
Hello and happy May the 4th, Star Wars fans. Today we're going to talk about the original movie and the games that came off of that. So thinking back to the original movie, you pretty much had the introduction of all of the main characters except for a couple. You didn't get people like Lando Calrissian until the next movie, and you didn't get Yoda. But I heard he was around somewhere.
In this movie I was not, but here anyway I am.
Now, I'm not going to focus so much on the movie itself because that came out more towards the end of the month. And when we get closer to that, I'll talk about the movie and all its different forms, including this mess. Now, the games for Episode 4, there really wasn't that many. The most that we really had was Star Wars, and we also had Super Star Wars. There really wasn't much else. There was a few things on the Atari, like the Jedi training where you were Luke with a little orb that shot down little bullets at you. But that's really all there was. There may be a few that I'm missing, but overall there was, I could say, no more than 5. Now, Star Wars was actually on the NES as well as the Game Boy. I happen to have the Game Boy here, and let's take a look at this one.
Now, in this game, you start off in a cave because, that happens in the movie. And basically, you are Luke, and you kind of just walk around in the cave and fall to your death about every 10 seconds. Besides falling to your death, you appear to have a weakness to falling water. This I can never figure out because you are supposed to be a Jedi. Well, maybe not yet, but you're going to be. But yet falling water is your worst enemy, and you bounce back and kind of fly across the room. Now, if water was that powerful, especially just dripping off the ceiling at probably a third of the speed, then we would be using that for a lot of other things. Now, the overworld in this game, I don't really fully understand it. If this was maybe the search for R2-D2, you and C-3PO are driving around getting stuck on rocks, and then you found a sandcrawler. But the thing was, in the movie, he wasn't in the sandcrawler, even though, here it says he was. The only time that he was in the sandcrawler was when he was with C-3PO already. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but then yet this is kind of giant for the sandcrawler, and the Jawas themselves are also quite giant from what they're supposed to be.
Now, there was a version on the Famicom that was called Star Wars that was a bit different, but that one wasn't even close to really following the movie. As little as these did, that one, Darth Vader was a scorpion. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I think somebody just patched on Star Wars at the last minute. Now, unlike the game on the Game Boy that we just showed, Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo was actually a pretty good game. Now, overall, this is a pretty difficult game, and it only got worse as the series went on, with Super Empire Strikes Back and Super Return of the Jedi being at least twice as difficult as this game. But this game has gone over through the years and it's gotten a lot of praise, and has even made an appearance on the PS4.
This year is actually my Star Wars themed PS4 that came just like this when you pre-ordered Star Wars Battlefront back in October of 2015, I believe it was. This came with Super Star Wars and 3 other classic Star Wars games, as well as a Star Wars themed system and controller, as you can see here.
So let me show you some of this game right here, and you can see what it looks like.
Now, right off the bat, you are actually Luke Skywalker, which is recognizable for the first time, I guess you could say. You start off with a blaster, and it is upgradable. Now, the only thing that I'd say this doesn't follow the movie, we didn't really see some of these characters. The little flying bats, you could say, maybe were the ones from Empire Strikes Back. Maybe. Don't remember scorpions. There's something about Star Wars and scorpions that it just seems to be coming back over and over. The one thing that is in this that was in Star Wars was the Sarlacc monster, which I will show you now, as well as some sandworms and just, things that were generally existing. Moving on into the second level, you are in your speeder with C-3PO going across the desert looking for R2-D2, who once again, for some reason, was put in the sandcrawler. Still don't understand where they're getting that from, because he wasn't put in the sandcrawler. He rolled himself into a cave looking for Obi-Wan. I guess that wasn't climactic enough for a game, even though a level later on you find Obi-Wan anyway out in the kind of like wastelands. Once you actually make it to the Sandcrawler, then your job is to crawl up it, and that's just a lot of platforming on little platforms like this. Now here I have the Seeker gun, which is actually my favorite gun in the game, so I am ignoring that power up there. There are 5 different gun upgrades in the game. You go from a blaster to kind of like a powered like yellow ball that you shoot, then you get the Seeker, then you get the ion cannon, which is like a blue shot, and then you get a plasma gun, which kind of looks like big things of fire, I guess you're launching at people. I found this actually to be a little easier using the thumbstick on the PS4. I used that just because I wanted it to look a little cleaner than my version on the Super Nintendo, and just to see if there was really any differences, which there's not, besides the fact that there are trophies that you can earn, which obviously was not on the Super Nintendo.
So that was the main games based off of the original movie. I hope you've played these. If not, this is available on PSN, and you can get this fairly cheap, and it's worth looking at. Now, as far as this one, I don't believe this is on many things for you to download. However, you can really pass on this one because it really doesn't make much sense. It barely follows the movie, and really isn't fun for that long anyway.
Good. Buy the movies and the games, and your journey to the dark side will be complete.